Welcome to Corky's Italian Ice. What'll you have?
Hi there. Yeah, what flavor do I want to get? Oh, God, excuse me. Was that you?
What? No, I'm thinking classic lemon, probably.
No. You don't smell that.
No,
There's kids here.
it wasn't me.
So you do know what I'm talking about.
Maybe, okay?
Sir, would you be willing to reveal your last meal to me?
Carne asada burrito.
Taco Burrito King, Taco Bell, or other?
Other.
Continue.
The stand in the back of the car wash. El Auto Bandito.
Oh. So that's grizzle I'm getting.
It was 60% gristle.
Sir, I know you have defiled the nostrils of me, my lady, and the untrained nasals of these innocent bystanders. I tell you, be gone from my view, exit post haste, or you will see me clog your hole with every plastic spoon of this fine Italian ice establishment. Take your wench, your filthy mutt, and leave this stand and never return. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make a scene. Oh, welcome to Uber Cinco, the podcast game show where we deep dive top fives. And if you haven't guessed, today's topic is going to be top 5 reasons to cause a scene. Now, we are not alone today. We have our familiar favorites, but first, we have this guy, Dennis.
Hey,
What's
up?
How are you?
Good.
Dennis is going to be producing today. How are things in the shadows?
I'm looking at, all right, we're doing good on producing.
Okay, yeah.
I see levels.
You did a real good job.
I feel very highly produced right now.
Yes, we are so
Good.
produced.
Wait, hold on, let me check. Yeah, we're still good.
Okay.
I feel overly produced. Can you produce me less, please?
Yeah, let me check.
Thank you.
All right, you're good.
Or is it produce? Or no, produce.
We produce our produce.
Yes, there we go. Sorry.
So as we produce our produce today and get the freshest bananas you've ever seen, if you like Dennis's voice, you can go ahead and hear him on our other podcast, Weird Shit I Saw This Week, and we're new here. He's tall, he's handsome, and he has a
my.
baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's pretty cool.
Hear that story about how I did mushrooms during a Coheed and Cambria concert?
Yeah, it's a pretty good story. You should go listen to it. And it has been far too long since we have grazed your ear canals, and let me tell you, it's been no pleasant hiatus. I've only returned home recently after being released from a rehab for pale podcasters after carving top 5 lists into freshly poured cement and shouting fast fives at every stroller I pass. But if you thought I had it bad, just wait until you hear what these guys are up to. You remember him as the Ginger Prince, but since the loss of the Queen, he's been a rumple rouser touring the lower 48 as the latest 2023 pickleball amateur hustler. He's got that cash. Now he's trying to find all that ass. It's Mitch Brinkman. How are you?
Hello. Yes. I cashed in my big racket, tennis, for a tiny racket, pickle, and I've been slamming those little wiffle balls all over the country, beating a lot of old women. So it's a lot of cash in my pockets right now.
Oh, man, I love it when you diss the elderly. It's been 7 months since we last saw him alive, and much has changed. His hair grew longer. He finally learned how to read guitar tabs, and he's got a couch. It's Nathan Hennenfent. How are you?
The couch will be delivered on Tuesday, but
The man will have a couch.
I've been couchless for far too long. It's been very embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, but the hair still looks good.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Yes.
I can tell you're fucking psyched for that chaise. I can see it on
I
your
am
face.
very, yes. It's actually called a shouch.
Oh, a shouch?
That's how it, yes, because it has the chaise and then
And
the
a
couch. So it's a shouch.
That's my new favorite word. Shouch.
Shouch. So the shouch will be delivered Tuesday.
As long as they're not calling them Davenports anymore, because that's ridiculous.
My grandmother used to use that term.
The
It was amazing,
Davenport.
yes. Oh, I left it on the Davenport. I left it on the Davenport. My grandmother was a very distinguished woman, but even that, when I was 8 years old, I was like, come on, Grandma, that is heavy-handed.
I once shot a commercial for a local furniture company here in town. I remember like, hey, do you want us to move this couch over here? He looked me dead in the eyes like, those are sofas. So the rest of that day wasn't too great. But if you all want to get blown to the moon, head on over to ubercinco.com to listen to this and any other fine episode. And we thank you for your submissions for upcoming topics. They keep us honest. Want to join the conversation? Consider dipping your toes in the UBK Discord server at the link in our show notes. Join the conversation with us. And if you're new here, sit back, relax, take it in. No need to share the rules. As we like to say, we are not smart enough to come up with anything too complicated. I am the host today, and for those who know I'm entitled to enforce a house rule for today's game. Anyone who has caused a scene in a situation where I was too scared to make a scene will get a bonus point for letting me live vicariously through them. And don't forget to stay until the end of the show where I, Brian Ernst, will list off my fast 5 reasons we haven't posted a podcast in 7 months. We had a pre-show skyscraper counting contest looking at our fine view today, and the winner was Dennis.
I'm going to go with Nathan.
Nathan's the winner. Hey, Nathan, you get to go first. What's
There
your
were-
number 5?
There were 4.
Yes.
4 skyscrapers.
Yes. Man, Chicago's really gone downhill. You're number 5, sir.
My number 5 reason to cause a scene is when your mom won't let you have a candy bar because she already bought cookies and they're in the grocery cart.
Oh, come on.
So
Oh.
this happened when I was either 2 or 3 years old. This is one of my earliest memories. I might have just been 2. Like it was just shy of my birthday. I was in Monmouth, Illinois at the Eagle grocery store. So in Monmouth, you could go to the Eagle or you could go to Giant Foods. We happened to be at the Eagle because we had left Roseville.
Both
drove
mythical
the-
creatures, the eagle or the giant.
Eagles are not real, as we all know.
Yes, they are not. They are not. They're not.
But we had gone all the 11-mile drive to Monmouth, probably 12 because it's on the north side of Monmouth, because we didn't want to go to Jack and Jill's in Roseville. So we were all the way at Eagle Foods, and there I am in the cart in the little kid thing where your legs stick out the metal bars like
Of
you're
course.
on your way to the gallows or something.
Mhm.
And yeah, my mom was like, "Hey, you can't have that candy bar." And I was like, "But I really can." And she said, "No, because I have, like, look at all the cookies, just thousands and thousands of cookies. I have more cookies than you're going to be 9 years old before you're done with all these cookies." And I just wasn't having it. I just lost it. I mean, screaming for just like, we were all the way in the back of the store and she was doing everything she could to calm me down. I just screamed and screamed and screamed and screamed. And then finally she gave up and she's like, "Well, we got to go home. Like, I can't do this. This is humiliating. I'm embarrassed." But she has this cart full of groceries. She can't just abandon it. So we head to the checkout and I've sort of calmed down. I've gone from like a 10 to an 8. And then the lady at the checkout was like, "Oh, everything's going to be okay." Big fucking mistake. That just sent me right back off because I was going to prove to her that no, it will not be okay. And then we go through the checkout process. And according to my mother, I didn't calm down until the 11-mile drive back to Roseville was done. And so I have a vivid memory of this. And my mom said, and this is my mom who said this, it's not me, it's my mom, so that she has such a vivid memory of it because it was the only tantrum I threw. And then she proceeded to mention how she has no memory of my sister's biggest tantrum because she was having one consistently for about 11 years. So, well, she did give one line where my sister said we were going somewhere and Laurel said, "I'm going to stay home and break all the things." And I've always enjoyed that line. And then she mentioned a trip where must have been on our way to Disney World, but we were driving towards Atlanta and my mom's like, "Yeah, she had a tantrum all the way from Illinois to Atlanta." And
Oh my God, I would open the window and say, "Hey, just stick your head out," and just help him out the rest of the way. I'd be like,
well, I don't remember that. I remember that trip, but I don't remember the tantrum because I guess I had just learned to tune her out. So anyways, I'm calling you out, Laurel. I was the better child. That is what my mom said. Well, she didn't say that, but that's what I heard, and I'm sticking to it.
Tiny tantrums. Keep that in mind, Dennis. But we have to see Mitch's rebuttal to that. What is your number 5?
My number 5 reason to cause a scene is it's called when you're screwed over by shoddy technology.
Oh, just horrible
Yeah,
tech.
it's the worst.
Poorly
and,
made.
And this always happened to me when I was roommates with my opponent today, Nathan, and our other friend, Stephen Moore, and we'd play a lot of FIFA. So it was like FIFA, I don't know, 11 or
2010.
something. 2010, there we go.
2010.
And the controller just wouldn't do exactly what I wanted it to do. I was very good at FIFA. I almost always won. But when I lost, I never lost because I wasn't good enough, or it's not that I was outplayed. It was the controller's fault. It was the shoddy goddamn technology. And my best scene that I ever caused, I remember Nathan scored a goal from like 45 yards out. Absolute fucking horse potatoes. And what I did was I just revved up the right arm and I just punched a hole in the wall. and then I covered it with a little sports poster, so that no one
No,
would know.
that's not what was covered.
What was
No,
it that covered?
I remember this so well. This was back in, it was either 2009 or 2010. It was in that era.
Was it a piece of paper that kept track of how many times I beat you at FIFA?
No, it was. I remember this so clearly. I remember in one instance of video game so clearly. I was playing as AC Milan. You were playing as Inter Milan.
Yeah.
And I beat you 6-2. And the piece of paper that covered that was each goal score and the minute that they scored.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes. So yeah, in the Battle of Northern Italy, sure, I lost that one, but it was all the controller's fault. It wasn't mine. So yeah.
I have a quick question. Was it the Xbox provided controller or a third party controller you'd get from GameStop?
It was the provided controller by Microsoft Corporation, but it had been beat to hell, through greasy hands and potato chip fingers and all that kind of thing. So
the shoddy technology is not a factory default.
It was the amount of simpler times lager we had spilled on it over
no,
that year.
I think it was the technology's fault. Yeah, because I'm a brilliant tactician at FIFA. So
Mitch is very good at FIFA. That is true, but
It is frustrating.
We also have to mention.
I'm not very good. I am the best.
Well,
Thank you very
yes.
much. Yes.
No argument.
Yep.
But do you remember Steve's great line? Because you had shoddy technology, and then Steve had his line.
Yeah. Well, what was it? It was I was doing something.
I was in the middle of something. The final whistle would go, and every time I was in the middle of something.
You're like, I still lost 7-2, but I was in the middle of
He's
something.
gonna score 6 goals in a 30-second span.
Yeah. So I don't get happy when I lose at video games. So yeah, that one punched a nice fist-sized hole in the wall.
Let's get an age number on that.
How old are you?
20.
Too old. He was too old for that to be
22.
21 choice. That's okay.
At least I didn't throw the controller at the TV.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
I've had friends do that like
Yeah.
4th and 5th grade.
Testosterone was still pretty high.
Yes.
I'd have friends do the move where they would be playing a game and I'm winning, like basketball or something, and like it'd be like 5 seconds left, and they would just shut the PlayStation off. They go, "I guess you never won, technically." Like, oh, what a bunch of horse shit.
That's when you just assault your friend. Just when you just fight them on the spot.
You beat them to death with shoddy technology.
Yes.
Well, you got to score this out between either FIFA or Tiny Tantrum. Both of them can get scores from 1 to 3. What would you give Mitchell for his controller shoddy technology?
Mitchell, I'm giving you a 2. Giving you a 2.
Wow.
I'm not playing favorites.
Okay.
But we're giving a 3 to Nathan.
There
A
we go.
3.
That was a good tantrum.
Wow. Okay.
Good,
It's my best.
it's a good scene to cause.
That was a good scene to cause.
He didn't even mention what kind of candy he wanted. He just said candy. How do you not have that detail just ready to go, right?
We're
And he
gonna
said
go with.
1,000 cookies. There was 1,000 cookies in your cart. Sure. Okay.
They had
yeah.
big carts.
You really don't like losing.
Oh my God.
Mitch is so mad because we did not focus on his favorite word, specificity.
Thank
Nathan.
you. Thank you.
Your number 4. What do you have?
My number 4 reason to cause a scene is when your rambunctious sister and cousins on the couch at grandma's house cause you to miss at the vital moment John Paxson making the game-winning 3 in the 1993 NBA Finals. So there we were at
Ooh.
grandma and grandpa's house, the whole family there, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone.
Cry me a
So
river.
my grandparents' house, you guys have been there. If you remember how it's set up, the TV was in the kitchen. They didn't have a TV anywhere else yet.
Mm-hmm.
The TV was in the kitchen, in the corner, and then the couch was like next to it, but it was facing outward. So everybody was sitting on the couch looking to the right. And then other people were standing. It was a packed house. But I was at the very front of the couch. And then my sister and my cousins were all wrestling. And it was an intense game. It goes down to the wire. It's one of the NBA classics. Michael Jordan had 55 points. And he brings the ball up the court. He dishes it down to Horace Grant. And then smoosh, I go face first into the cushions. And I'm down there and I'm like, I can't breathe. And I'm like, I wonder what's happening. And then my entire family, 25 people or something, just, yeah! And I'm like, okay, this is okay. This is only a moment that will haunt me for the rest of my life. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And but do you know what I did?
What'd you do?
I did nothing. And to this day, I wonder, why did I not get up and just yell at every single person I was related to. I was like 7 years old. I just should have dressed them down. I should have thrown things. I should have broken furniture. Oh my gosh. Like
Tantrum
I
2, Electric
still-
Boogaloo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God that the Bulls won more games after that, at least 3 or 4. But I was devastated for weeks. So this is sort of anti the game is that I'm still not over it.
Yeah.
But,
Interesting.
yeah, 30 years later, I'm not over it. So I should have caused a scene. I was so within my rights. But I was such a good little boy who didn't throw tantrums that I just sat there and did nothing.
Or you could just not care about sports because sports don't matter and it's just stupid.
Uh,
That's how I've gotten through life with absolutely no regrets.
If I could do that, I would.
Okay.
Did they show a replay?
I still to this day have never seen
Oh,
it.
Because that's the 90s too, man. It's like
how do you know he made it or not?
Well, my family told me.
I read it in the paper.
Yeah.
No.
we VCR'd it.
We VCR'd it. Wow. It's tech. All right, Mitch. Do you have anything better than missing a pointless shot in a basketball game?
I do. I think a great time to cause a scene is when it just all seems trivial, and you've had a little too much wine and you're in a city you've never been to before and one you'll never return to. And you're in a public place, you've had too much, and someone, you shouldn't have another drink. But you're like, let's go, one more. Yep, let's go, one more flagon of wine, please. I'll do a shot of whiskey on the top. Why not? You do that, and then you say, "Where's your restroom? I would like to wreck it, please." And then they say, "Oh, just around the corner." And you just enter your own personal splash zone in there. You're painting the walls a little vomit. Peeing on the seat, if you will. And then you come out and you just try and start an argument with the oldest white guy you can find in the place. And you're talking politics, you're talking religion, you're talking body piercings, you're talking clothing length, all those kind of things. And you bait him into it, and then you accuse him loudly of being out of touch and sucking up all the capital and the resources for themselves. True story. I mean, that's America. And then eventually you're asked to just close out and leave immediately. And you eventually do, after drinking one more half-finished glass off of another table that's not yours. And you stumble out in the night and you just do the classic, which I've seen this in movies. And so this is probably, where the idea came from. Just a double bird in the front window, one of those. And then you just tilt your own chin real high and you just stroll off into the darkness, and then you never return. So, then that's my number 4. I think that's a great reason to cause a scene, but
By just being a reckless
yes,
drunk.
exactly.
By only your fault, no one else's.
To a city that's been mean to you, and you don't want to come back. So.
Top 3 cities in which you would like to do this to.
Oh, Des Moines. Absolutely Des Moines. Oklahoma City. Ugh. And I'll say Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah.
That saved it for me. That made that a lot better for me.
No problem.
I love it when you hate on cities.
Yeah.
Or in my case, whole states, because I'm never going to Indiana again if I can help it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. All right. Dennis, you're up. Number 4 is what's better?
I'm gonna flip them this time. You get 3.
Thank you, Dennis.
No.
Nathan for the 2.
Oh, wow.
I'm like John Paxson, who made a 3.
You kind of got me riled up in that story, man. I want to
Yeah.
go do that tonight.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
tonight.
fun time. You just can't do it in your own neighborhood. I wouldn't do it
Yeah.
there. You want to do it in a
Good.
place where no one knows you,
Speaking of 3s, we're on our number 3s. Back to Nathan. What is your number 3 reason to cause a scene?
This covers a lot of the same thematic territory Mitch just went over, but this is something I call restaurant relationship sabotage.
Oh.
So you're in a relationship you need to get out of, but you
Okay.
don't have the courage to just pull the plug. You're an absolute coward.
It is tough sometimes.
But there is a way. So you go to the nicest restaurant you possibly can. If you do this on a birthday or anniversary, even more effective. Step 1, there's 5 steps to this.
Okay.
At least I remember writing 5. There might be 6, who knows? But anyway, step 1, just announce very loudly that you're not going to tip. that you're against tipping culture. You think that it's it's on the employer to pay a living wage. So I won't be tipping. Make sure other tables here and as many of the serving staff as possible. Already embarrassing everybody.
The fact that you use the word tipping culture already tells me you're an asshole. Because it's not a culture; it's just what happens, you know. So okay,
Tipping culture.
Yeah.
So the next thing you want to do is you want to send your meal back twice. You want to make sure it's twice. Now, I don't recommend you eat it after it comes back the second time. I don't think I need to explain why, but don't eat it. But make sure you send it back twice.
Okay.
My mom once tried to send something back twice, and I was like, "Mother, you are not doing that." like I called her mother. Like when she would call me by my middle name, I was like, "No more mom." I was like, "Mother, no."
What was
we're
she
not doing
sending
this.
back? What was she sending back?
We were at the Barnstormer Steakhouse in Monmouth, and it was
Such a
it
memory.
was still
Such
red.
a memory you have,
The
man.
Barnstorm.
Was it not cooked enough? The steak?
It was not cooked enough for her liking.
Is she a well done steak eater?
Yeah, she is.
Oh.
So I know already that's a problem. I did not let her do it, but it's a good move if you're in this situation.
sure.
Send it back twice.
So then if you can possibly set this up, do it at a restaurant that's doing an open mic. And then just on a whim, just get up and do some stand up. Don't plan it. Just make jokes entirely about your relationship.
Oh,
Just cover.
just
That's the
go
only thing
in.
you're going to cover. A nice tight 5 minutes on your relationship. Just hone in on this significant other.
You're not rehearsed at all, but you got a tight five.
Well, you know.
You know what's funny, guys? How little I care about the person I'm with right now. That's a good one.
Oh, an airplane food.
And then you want to, on your way back, you want to start taking food from other people's plates until somebody takes a swing at you, and you want to actually get into a physical altercation. After this day, well, once you're escorted out of the building and you pay your bill and don't tip because of tipping culture, after that's over, your relationship will not survive and you are out. You don't have to have any conversations. She's going to storm away.
Jesus.
It is a clean break. It is what some would call a wipe free. So,
So lay this on me. Instead of just having a one sentence conversation with somebody, you'd rather an entire restaurant filled with patrons to loathe your very existence.
yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure
I can't imagine anything more painful than openly communicating my feelings to another person.
Dude, I like you, Nathan.
Can I poke a hole in this?
Yeah.
He said a nice restaurant and one that has open mic. That does not
Yeah,
exist.
yeah, you're
It's
right
a
there.
unicorn, I grant you.
That's okay.
You're going to have to do your research.
Okay.
I did like that story because it reminded me of the time my dad overburnt some steaks on the grill to the point where they were basically pieces of charcoal, and he ate it out of spite in front of my mother because he didn't want to admit that he was wrong. So he's sitting there scratching as a steak knife is going through this, and he's crunching.
Karen, this is delicious.
Yeah, he's like, I like it this way. You cooked them, all right. Mitch, you're number 3.
My number 3 is a great time to cause an incredible scene is when your friends ball tap you when you're trying to finish Edward 40 hands and you have to go to the bathroom at the same time.
So specific.
Yes, this happened to me in the basement of Katie Woodruff's parents' house in about 2012, I'm guessing. Don't remember who suggested the Edward 40 hands, but if you don't know, for those of you at home, 2
With
40-ounce bottles of beer. I think I was drinking Budweiser or something. You duct tape them to your hands. You cannot have the bottles removed from your hands until you finish both. 80 ounces divided by 12 is what?
Mitch?
About 6.5 beers. There we go.
Quick
Yes, there we go.
That was good.
Thank you very much. And so that's a lot of beer. And also it's a race. So you also race to see who can get it done first. I don't remember what the prize was. Probably just another drink or something. I
Just
don't
getting
know.
the feeling back in your hands.
Yes,
You
exactly.
get to finally pee.
That too.
yeah, right.
So I had to pee, and then someone ball tapped me, which is when you just hit someone in the testicles.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was with a blanket, and I was not happy.
Oh, it was a whip.
Yeah, it was like a whip ball
Ooh.
tap. I was
I
not
was thinking
happy.
like a light passing flick of the fingers.
Yeah,
No, this
yeah.
was a piece of material.
Even a light
Smack.
passing flick of
And
the
like-
fingers would have been uncomfortable, but this was a nice little,
Oof.
and then from me. And I, after I was almost done with those 6 beers, this is after we'd come back from a bar too. So we were already like 5 drinks deep, and then
Oh my.
just smart drinking, smart planned out drinking. I was very hot. I was bothered, and I yelled at the top of my lungs. And got even worse after I got the things off my hands, used the restroom. I came back, and I grabbed the blanket that the person whipped me with, and I was like, I didn't whip them, but I was whipping the ground, making my point, be like, fucking dare you fucking hit a man like me in the nuts when I'm trying to get you separate. You know,
That blanket is shoddy technology.
I was so upset, and then I learned afterwards that someone had their phone out and a camera on and recorded me also yelling, which then they showed me immediately, and then that sent me into another tizzy. So yeah, I felt embarrassed about the scene I did cause at the time because, you know, no one likes to cause a scene, especially when it's caught on camera. But I will say, I think I was more within my right than anyone else. And also, I should mention, if you Google my high school right now, St. Thomas Academy, Mendota Heights, Minnesota, there's a news story out there. There's been some lawsuits that came out from the frat-like culture at the all-boys military school.
No.
Shocking.
Right? Yes. And they described what happened to these kids. They're like, often hits to the groin area and also smacks on the butt and like bullying and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's just high school. That's just normal. What do you mean? Now I could have filed a lawsuit? What?
Yeah.
I could have got some money out of it. So I had gone through that whole portion of my life. So the ball tap was a sensitive subject for me. And this was the wick, you know, that really got the bomb going. So I just want to mention that, you know, there was a reason. There was a reason for it.
That isn't fair.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
were robbed of your title.
Thank you.
I will admit that.
Thank you. Thank you.
These number 3s are pretty tough.
Yeah.
You were wild back in the day, man. Seems like you've calmed down a lot.
Yes. I was a feral. I think feral is a good word
say
for
a
it.
wild child.
Yeah, bit of a feral boy. So.
Taping beers to your hands. That's wild shit.
Yeah.
All right. Can we do ties?
You can give them the same amount of points for each round.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna give 2 3s to both of you guys. I loved your story, but
All right.
how to ruin a date. That's great.
I hate to have to do this, but I am going to give a bonus point to Nathan because I'm going to live vicariously through him because I hate talking about my feelings.
Oh my God.
+1 to Nathan.
Dude, I've been dumped and I've dumped. I have dumped and I've been dumped. Dude, I would rather be dumped a million times than to have to dump someone. It sucks. It's hard. So
Yeah.
I'm with you, dude.
Horrible feeling.
Oh my God, it's really hard. Like I'll just be miserable forever. It's fine.
Well, we're going to bring it up a little bit with our number 2s, hopefully. Nathan, I don't know what you got there. Let's see what's there.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Uh-oh.
wedding fart.
Oh, yes. I can't wait.
So
Wait. 2 T's or 2 D's?
2 D's.
Okay, good. Just
Oh yeah.
I can't believe I actually looked down to see what I had written.
for a second, did you think fart had 2 T's in it? Maybe.
Dude, that's
I
what
don't
I was
know.
thinking. I'm like, wait,
I was
huh?
the slowest to that joke.
I wanted to make sure I got it right.
That was so quick and I was so slow. I am embarrassed for myself, but that was
Okay,
But,
keep
but
going.
since
Sorry.
you mentioned it, so this is a scenario in which it's not your relationship you need to end,
Yeah.
but your friends. So you've tried really hard to politely drop little hints that maybe
anyone
they're
objects,
making a
speak now.
terrible mistake. And yes, you just the night before you're gonna go to Taco Bell, you're gonna eat lentils and broccoli and have some chili. You're just gonna load the cannon, and then they're gonna say to speak now or forever hold your peace. And then just you get hopefully this is in a church with the old wooden pews, and you just kind of lean to the side and just
That
let her go.
amplifies it. Yeah.
All right,
Hilarious.
That's one way, but there's a better way. Is if you can finagle yourself into being the officiant of the wedding, and you get first you can fumble through your lines, you can already be doing a bad job, and then you're just like, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to take a quick little break, and you leave, and everybody in the room will be like, oh my God, we've never seen anything like this before, but hopefully you'll be mic'd up. See where I'm going with this?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So you head to the bathroom. You just unleash everything you've got, unload the clip, and everybody can hear everything that happens. And then you just walk back out like nothing's ever happened. Now, it may not end the relationship that, in fact, it won't. But 2 or 3 years in, when the problems are really starting to arise, a lot of couples will have that moment like, oh, do I really want to throw this away? And they'll look at the wedding pictures and it's like, oh, they were so happy. No, I need to give this another shot. They'll think back to their wedding day and be like, Jesus Christ, what a fucking train wreck. And then, boom, they will sever the knot.
Wow. Give a regular Greg Davies moment.
Dude, it's March 25th, and that may be the funniest thing I've heard all month. So that is not an insult. That was so funny. So I can just imagine. So anyone have anything to say before these two people get there's a rip off fart? Oh my God, dude!
Oh, God.
How come I've never thought of that? That's great.
Something in me has something to say.
Wet butt.
Mitch, we covered the wedding fart.
Yes, yeah.
Wet to tell us about.
I'm just gonna say diabolical, really diabolical. I like it a lot. As you said, let's bring the energy up. I'm gonna try and be a little less spirally with this one, but it does. Oh boy, do I cause a scene when it happens. And so my number 2 is when the refs are straight fucking my favorite team on calls. We're getting no calls, you know. And this comes out when I'm at like in a public place at a sports bar, if we will, maybe the Pony here in Chicago or ESPN Zone in my younger days.
Wow,
I know, right?
What a
Throwback. And it happens a lot to Minnesota teams. That's where I'm from because Minnesota, we've had bad sports history. It's my fandom of them will never end. But it has taught me that life is mostly sadness, and I think that helps with dealing with the ups and downs of life, of understanding that not everything's going to be rosy. But I can remember one terrible instance. I'll go back to 2009. The Vikings had just signed Brett Favre, and everyone knows him now as the guy who steals money from the welfare fund in Mississippi or sends his penis pictures to female employees of the organization. But at one point, he was a pretty good NFL quarterback, and he had one great season with the Vikings. We got to the NFC Championship game. We're playing the New Orleans Saints, and this is when their defensive coordinator, guys, hang with me here. I'm going to throw a lot of sports people at you. Greg Williams was running Bounty Gate. I'm going to wake you up right now. He was paying his players extra for creating injuries in the other team. Throughout this entire game, they were taking late hits at Brett, hitting his knees, smoking his head. And then one terrible call at the end. We should have had 15-yard automatic first down for roughing the passer. They went for his knees. They didn't call it. That's where the game ended, and that was the last best chance my Minnesota Vikings have had to win the Super Bowl. And I will never forget it. And I think that same year, I think the Saints won the Super Bowl that year. But then they were like, Drew Brees was like, "This is for the city of New Orleans. Like, we recovered from Katrina." Like, fuck you for thinking a sports thing is going to recover the city, Like, I know people are like, "Oh, we love it," but still, it takes other things to fix a city, and that should have been my fucking championship. So I'm sorry, New Orleans, but Minnesota needed that more than you did. You guys have all the fun and all the dancing and all the music, and we have none of that, okay?
Didn't you get a beautiful, mostly taxpayer-paid stadium in return instead?
Yes, they swindled the dumb hicks. Sorry. They swindled the good God-fearing people of Minnesota into paying for some of that stadium. Yes, I'm not happy about that either. So,
yeah.
But it's just not fun. And when you're in public and your team isn't getting any calls, this happens to the Timberwolves all the fucking time. And I will yell at the TV. And at first I'll be embarrassed, and then just like, what was it, number 4, I'll order another round, and it all kind of, then I feel a little more comfortable to yell in a public place. But man, will I cause a scene? Right, Nathan? I mean, I get heated up.
You've caused a few scenes.
Yes.
We've watched a lot of sports together over the years.
Oh boy. Yeah, so that's my number 2.
Man, I've never ever wanted to live vicariously through moments like that. So we know he's not getting an extra point. Dennis, what do you have for these fellas?
Well, I'm going to give the 3 to Nathan. Your story had a lot of
on,
now
Big D.
I know.
Come on, Big D.
And one dude fell asleep,
That
a lot
was
of
just
precursors.
rude. That was just rude.
You had a lot of precursors. And you were supposed to make us happy or something, I think.
I know, but I
That
couldn't. When my team is getting boned, I can't get happy.
Let's do it, Dennis. Give
It's
him
good,
a 1.
but
Give him a 1.
You're getting a 1.
He's getting a 1.
Oh,
And wedding fart was awesome. That's great. That's good shit.
Speaking of good shit.
My thing actually happened though. It's like Nathan's was all like made up, whatever. I don't know. Just keep going.
All right, suck it, Mitch. All right, we're gonna move on to our number ones. Nathan, what do you have to take us out?
Okay, number one reason to cause a scene is when you get fired. But I thought of a very specific way. When I was going over this list, I was like, okay, like you could go around and you could throw stuff, or you could berate people, tell them what you really think. That's not original. But I was like, destruction of property. I was like, you want to cause a scene, but you also don't want to go to jail. So I was like, what can I do legally? So I went to the state of Illinois Penal Code and penal, yes.
Yeah.
And
Grow up.
on the destruction of property list, number 5, which is a great number for us here at Uber Cinco.
Yes,
Heyo.
Number
Cinco.
5 says something about, I'm just quoting here, any stink bomb or any offensive smelling compound thereby intends to interfere with the use of the land or building. So then I thought of another little gag I really wish I had played back in high school. We had this idea. We never pulled the trigger. It was a huge mistake. Originally, the idea is to do it with pigs. But now I have, now I'm going with skunks. So
That's good.
So the problem here is that you're going to have to own some skunks for a while, and you're also going to have to take them to work in your car discreetly, or better yet, to your desk and have nothing go wrong for a while. But if you think you're going to get fired, you need to start doing this. You need to be ready.
Hey, you got a skunk farm for a while.
So yeah, you're going to have to skunk farm. But then you get fired.
Yes.
So you go back to your desk. You try to discreetly, you take your whatever suitcase you've got that can carry 2 skunks, and then you're gonna unleash the skunks, but you're gonna have them wearing little bandanas, one that has the number 1 on it, and the other that has the number 3 on it, because eventually the whole building is gonna be skunked out and stinky. And they're going to find the number 1 and they're going to find number 3. And God knows how long that office will be closed while they look for number 2 that does not exist.
The skunk works to get fired that involves actual skunks.
That's like diabolical.
It's pretty diabolical. That's a lot of work to do for hire.
It's a
but
lot of legwork.
I appreciate the effort, though. I appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
Mitch, do you have something less smelly for us?
Yes. This one is much happier. And Brian, you can absolutely vicariously live through this
I
one.
can?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
Okay, so here's my number 1. So this one is when the spirit inside your legs can't be squelched, and on comes some delicious soul funk from the 70s, and you're feeling fine but sweaty as hell in your one good wedding suit, and you've got one last chance to entice your cousin's hot friend at a wedding. So this is a better wedding thing than the wedding part. I'm just gonna say,
Oh.
right?
This is your chance for some.
Exactly. So you are on the perfect amount. You've had just the right amount of light macro lager, maybe a shot or 2, but you are fully in control. You are dancing your batootie off. This incredible song comes on, and you've been making eyes at your cousin's hot friend all night, and this is the chance. You do the little fishing pole move. You get closer. Your hips are waggling back and forth. Your shoulders are in time with your wrists and your ankles, I guess. I don't know.
It sounds like dancing.
Shake those ankles, boy.
Dancing, yeah.
Sounds like just
I
dancing
headed
well.
downtown last night for a good old-fashioned ankle shake.
Oh, baby.
Look at him go. He got the ankle shakes.
Yeah. And like the lyrics to the song, so you're lip syncing along. You've got the little snap going on, like a Michael Jackson move thing, and then your cousin's hot friend is like, "How about we do one more shot, and then you and I go back to the Holiday Inn Express across the parking lot, and like let's."
Every story you tell has the one more shot clause in it today.
And a Holiday Inn Express for some reason.
Well, that's the hotel block for the wedding. I don't know what else to tell you. That's where everyone's staying.
Right?
Yeah. And before you retire for the evening, of course, you take a quick dip in the communal hot tub. Of course, get your way past the screaming children, but you get in that hot tub, really set the mood, and then you go back to the junior suite, and and you have yourself a little.
You got upgraded at that Holiday Inn Express,
exactly. Of
or at
course
least
I
she did. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my number 1. I think that's the best time to cause a scene because a lot of people at weddings will dance, but they'll stay in the conservative space.
Yes.
This is where you freaking go for it. You know, you are. It's that dance break in Saturday Night Fever, starring John Travolta. Was it? There's a dance battle, and God, so many bad movies in the early mid 2000s. I feel like dance battle was like,
Oh yeah.
like a
Step
big,
it up.
yeah, big scene.
Bring it
often. So,
on.
but yeah, and you know, you just leave all your sweat in your suit. You know, you just do not put it on again.
There is something very different about wedding sweat.
Yeah.
There's something. There's a fuel to it.
It's a clean sweat, I think.
Yeah,
too.
as opposed to it's like I'm doing the gym
Yeah.
all day or whatever. A wedding sweat is like, this means I partied right.
Yes,
This
exactly.
means I succeeded in what the night was
Exactly.
supposed to be.
Exactly.
A little concerned about the ankle shakes. The last time I was told that I was pre-diabetic. We have to go and score this out. We have our
And
number
now you're
ones.
post-diabetic? Is
Oh,
that
I'm
what
way
you-
past it. I'm post-diabetes. I beat that shit.
Like,
All right.
Everybody's looking around the dance floor like, that guy's getting laid tonight.
Yeah.
And his
Oh,
blood
yeah.
sugar's low.
His ankles and shoulders are in time. I tell you what. Oh boy.
Scoring out number ones. What do you have for us, Dennis? For all
Mitch,
the
I loved
marbles?
your number one.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Big D. Really do.
You're getting the 3.
Yes.
You're
thank you
getting
so
the
much.
3.
Brian, bonus point?
Oh, you get a bonus point. I'm
Yes.
living vicariously through that. That's
Oh,
4 for
very
sure.
cool. Very cool. Nathan, I'm sorry, dude. What was your story again?
It's the skunks.
Oh, the
Skunks.
skunk. Yeah, that was just too. That was like some Macaulay Culkin, the end of Home Alone shit. Like, all right, so I set up the skunk. That's too diabolical. So 1.
Oh
my
my
gosh, what is this?
God. That brings us to 13-13. We're ending in a tie today.
Yeah.
We always do tie, don't we?
Is there a tiebreaker?
No, we just have to live with it.
I hate tying. It's my least favorite thing.
We'll make them fight in the parking lot.
Oh, cool.
See
Cool,
whose
cool.
ankles give out first.
Cool.
All right, so you guys tied. Everyone's disappointed. Sorry, listeners. Can't crown a victor today, but you know the show ain't over yet
Mhm.
because we have my Fast Five, which is reasons we haven't podcasted in 7 months. Number 5. We were too distraught over Queen Lizzie's death that Nathan and I hit the road and won a 210-day hot streak at Crockford's, the Hippodrome, and the Empire. Then on a 1-day cold streak, and well, here we are. Number 4, Mitch lost his gift of gab and spent the last 2 quarters dabbling in monkhood.
Mhm.
Number 3, we just got like real tuckered out, you know?
That is true.
Number 2, I misplaced the memory card. Sorry. folks.
My dog ate it.
Yeah. Number 1, Dennis said we couldn't, and he's like really mean sometimes.
Hey, dude.
Big D's in town. He's laying down the
You
law.
keep calling me Big D.
Big D.
I've never called him that until right now.
That's
so.
cool. That's cool. I like it. I like it.
And joining me for this week's edition of Uber Cinco has been the Big D himself. Yeah, he's here. And of course, we've had our familiar favorite
Mitch Brinkman.
and the guy we like a little bit better.
Nathan Hennenfent.
And of course, I've been your big wet boy, Brian Ernst. And as Bizbear always says, the book was better than the movie. Auf Wiedersehen and adios. You've just listened to Uber Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
If you like what you hear and want to support the show, please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.